welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today we're checking in on everybody's favorite, or at least one of the more popular decks that I've ever concocted and put on this channel, the Fall of Thran deck. The deck that, yes, plays Fall of Thran, blows up all the lands, and then exiles the opponent's graveyard with Remorseful Cleric so they don't get lands back and you do. Something about this strategy is both tilting and exciting to a large number of the Magic population. So let's give it a visit. I've moved it into a black shell, which allows you to play Kaya as a win con by exiling more cards from the opponent's graveyard and eventually minusing Kaya to drain them for that much life. And then we also still have the good old Remorseful Cleric strategy. A Lich's Mastery keeps this deck from decking, from running out of cards, which is one of the cheats. And one of the things that happens sometimes with this deck is it can run out of cards before it completes enough exile to use Kaya. So we have a Lich's Mastery in the build, as well as one Dawn of Hope as the other win con as well. And then Scrabbling Claws is just another way to exile things in case the opponent, like maybe you draw the Remorseful Clerics early, you have to use them to stay alive. We can use a Scrabbling Claws to get a little traction in the graveyard, as well as Kaya herself. The rest of the deck is basically built around killing some early threats or ignoring them, setting up our combo, and of course we settle the wreckage, exile all their stuff, get lands out of their deck, and then blow them up. Does this deck beat control? This is a common comment on the original video. No, it doesn't. If you want to play a best of 3 version of this deck that can do better against control, you can sideboard in multiple copies of the Immortal Sun and Duress, and this would help you in the control matchup. However, the current version isn't made to beat control. Control is less than about 15% of the metagame in what I'm experiencing right now, and often less than 10% in constructed events. Therefore, what I'm really caring about beating are white aggro, red aggro, blue aggro, and any kind of Wild Growth Walker deck. So with those as the target, I think we're doing okay. Let's go out and play some games. So, slow land, maybe fast land, on the draw with nothing to play until turn 4. This hand is too slow. This hand we will try. The Fall of Thran being here is still a bit awkward, but at least we have a Moment of Craving and a treasure map now, and I would love a third land. Opponent kicks it off with an island. We're going to be playing Does It Rank? We're starting from 2 notches on Diamond 4, and I'm very curious to see how this goes. A deck full of Spell Pierces, probably not good. Mono blue, a bit of a tough nut to crack in the modern metagame. And there's a Pteramander. Let's play this land and say go. The idea will be to Moment of Crave on my opponent's turn. There's a Curious Obsession. So that resolves. We'll wait till the attack, I suppose. Go for Moment of Craving, the opponent will counter it. And that's probably game. It really is about that easy for Mono Blue to beat you with this kind of draw. But we will see how it plays out. Let's go for a treasure map and try to scry our way to more removal spells. The opponent uses Spell Pierce on it. Either their hand is insanely strong that they feel just fine doing that, or this Contempt has a better chance of resolving. We will see. Alright, let's mark the upkeep, because that's the best time to try to play our Contempt here before our opponent gets to draw and gets their information and has to spend mana on their turn. Alright, we'll do it in response to this opt then. Although, that's kind of rough, right? It still makes more sense to do it on next turn's upkeep, but the opt gives them 2 more looks at finding a protection spell if they don't have it. I think I have to try to respond to the opt, which might be very regrettable. There's the retort. Another obsession is not good. Just draw all land. If they draw all land, everything will be fine. Siren Storm Tamer counters Vraska's Contempt. I think that's enough for me in this game. Even if your deck is 100% removal spells, beating mono blue when they have a Curious Obsession dive down draw and another counter somewhere along the line to back it up is a bit of a disaster. It just doesn't happen. That's why mono blue is so good. So, we will try this hand. We don't have a sweeper, which is... Revitalize is supposed to bridge us into Kaya's Wraths and settle the wreckages, which we have not drawn. But perhaps we'll get there. Our opponent opens with a mountain. And how about a Steamkin? Ah, something else going on. So this is the mid-range or Gruul-ish aggro-y thing warrior version of the deck, which plays cards like Crawl Harpooner and Gruul Spellbreaker and Goblin Chain Whirler all together off unclaimed territory. So we can pass the turn. Now we're loading up on removal, and it's looking okay. Warrior. Might be some mana issues there. We'll see. Here's a Chain Whirler. Here's our Harpooner. Let's go ahead and revitalize, since our opponent appears to be done for the turn. And land go. Curious if I want to fix my... do I want to fix my opponent's mana in this spot? I think I do. I have 2 Vraska's Contempts after all. The place where this struggles is against Siege Gang Commander, but I think we go for it. Also, because they run Gruul Spellbreaker in the deck, it can turn off Settle the Wreckage at any moment. So when we get a chance for a nice settle, we should take it. Here comes Rekindling Phoenix. Yep. So I'm just going to nuke that now, because waiting could allow the opponent to Lightning Strike their Phoenix in response to the Vraska's Contempt. So getting it exiled right away feels good. And Phoenix returns, but the opponent didn't leave up... Okay, they do have a mountain if they do have that Lightning Strike play. So now we don't want to Contempt on our turn, because if our opponent Lightning Strikes it, they get the Phoenix back. We want to be able to Moment of Contempt the little token. So now we want to save the Contempt till our opponent's turn. Different plays at different moments in the game with the same cards. Isn't that interesting? Hopefully it helps some of you. Let's go ahead and fire off the Contempt. The opponent... Well, we'll see. Do you Lightning Strike your Phoenix in response? Yes, you do. If they play another creature, this is a juicy Kaya's Wrath. Okay, they do not play another creature. So we'll play out our land, and we'll Moment of Crave away this little egg token. Colossus. Wow. I didn't see that coming. So now I have to make a very different play, which is I play Remorseful Cleric and I exile my opponent's graveyard. This will also keep the Phoenix from coming back. And it's too bad because I had to give up on my Fall of Thran combo for the time being. But I think keeping that Phoenix, I think that Phoenix is one of the few things that can really kill me in the game if I don't answer it well. So I think it's worth it, especially with a treasure map and a Kaya's Wrath. The opponent asserts dominance with the 0-1. And now we'll use treasure map to try to put our combo back together and make sure we have more of the right answers. Another unclaimed. The opponent is starting to struggle with their land. They're still asserting dominance with the 0-1. That is how you send a message, my friends. The message is, I will attack no matter what. Nothing will stop me. Nothing will dissuade me. I am strong. All right, 2 lands to the bottom. Ideal. If you have a map. 3rd land on the top. Not ideal, but at least they're not all on top of the deck anymore. And here's Goblin Chain Whirler. Almost time for a Kaya's Wrath, but we'll see. Our opponent appears to have just top decked that. The card's in hand. We can probably expect another Collision Colossus. There might also be a Lightning Strike, a Lava Coil, or a Shock in hand, and we can probably anticipate one land being slow rolled. Let's keep the Settle. It's good against the Rekindling Phoenix. And because our opponent runs Phoenix and Spellbreaker, I don't want to use the Kaya's Wrath here. I want to have it for a Spellbreaker, but it's awkward using the Settle. Let's say go. I might just take a few hits. We're at 25. I can probably take 3 or 4 hits before deciding how to react to this board. So there's some damage. Let's draw a card with our treasure map. Try to get through this land clump we're in. I also may want to start holding lands. There is, of course, the issue with playing out your lands and then Fall of Thranning them. So this might work to hold, to just sit. Now we have the Kaya's Usurper, which can work with Kaya's Wrath to get rid of a Rekindling Phoenix as well. So it might almost be settle time. Let's see what happens. Why not establish dominance with the 0-1 now when I might settle? I think I'll take some more damage. Let's wait. Let's wait. Wouldn't you want to turn the 0-1 into a land? Ah, there's a Rekindling Phoenix, of course. Alright, now I'm curious if the opponent plays with or around Settle the Wreckage. So I'll just say go. I mean, if they have a Phoenix, but they won't attack with it, do they really have a Phoenix? Alright, let's go. Opponent looking at perhaps a Lightning Strike. Okay. We can exile the Phoenix from the graveyard with the Kaya. So we had a backup plan for that. We still get the Chain Whirler. The opponent gets a land for their token, but they're probably out of basics. No, they're not. Okay. Runs. I wonder how many basics this deck runs. We're at 8 there. Maybe they run 12. It's possible. I could open up a net deck and have a looks, but the more the merrier is the way I'm viewing it right now with this Fall of Thran. More the merrier. And there's the combo. Okay. And we get to catch the Rekindling Phoenix at the same time. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have the right number of mana. Okay, let's do it. All right. So the weird thing about this is the full, like, you have to do full control to make sure you float mana and use it right. So I'm going to turn on the full control. And we're going to go Fall of Thran. And this mana is fine. And now I'm going to add white, colorless to the mana pool, and resolve. And away we go. Shock your face. Dominance asserted. Twice. Opponent sends me the message. But then here's Remorseful Cleric. And there is your graveyard. Exiled. So you will have none of these things back. And this is why you can't have nice things. Scrabbling Claws is a diva. I can go for days without seeing this card, and then it's in every opening hand. What is up with that? I'm still not going to play it turn 1. I'm going to play the Guild Gate instead to get the tap land out of the way. Oh, we can't win this matchup. It is a disaster. But I can get my treasure map onto the battlefield. But we will not be Desperate Control. I should probably scoop now, just to save time, but I'll at least make them find like a Teferi or something. They're playing Basilica Bellhaunt, so they have some cards that I would call less than ideal. Alright, let's wait and see if the opponent uses their mana for anything or if I get to mortify his Kanta. It's all about timing. If the opponent's going to use some tap-out cards, let's see if they play some tap-out cards. Not to mention, maybe we don't have to even blow it up to hold it down with the claws, so we'll see what happens here. Opponent says go to unstep, let's treasure map, sure. Other mortify to make sure that we hit the Azcanta is good. Now we want this to be countered, which is weird. Because, well, our opponent, I guess, could have 2 Azcantas, and they could also play, like, Ixalan's Binding, so maybe we don't want it to be countered, but it's something. Let's go to end of turn. Alright. Opponent without a Chemister's Insight yet. They've been a Mortify. So that's fun. Let's go ahead and mortify this. Alright, that worked. See what the opponent takes. If they have a Teferi, they'll take the Contempt. Maybe they should take it anyway. Yep. So they have Hand Hate. I do not. They have great Planeswalkers. I have medium Planeswalkers. It's not a good fight. Let's flip this before they untap or draw another card. And we'll play the claws. And go ahead, exile a card. Well, I guess we leave it up. It doesn't make sense to tap it when the opponent might do something that targets it somehow. Okay. Time to die. And if I don't find a Vraska's Contempt, I'm going to leave. So, take this shot for it. No. We'll take this shot for it. And no thank you. Alright, Dawn of Hope, Moment of Craving, Treasure Map, Ixalan's Binding. All kinds of fun. Let's try it. Alright, turn 2 Dawn of Hope, try to slide underneath counter magic. Our opponent might just have Spell Pierce. Great, awesome. Just what we were hoping for. How about another one? Mistcloaked Herald is here. Let's see what happens if we scry. Good. More ways to kill things. That's what we need for the matchup. And now we're just going to wait for a Curious Obsession or something to be placed on this card. If it's not, I'm not in that big of a hurry to remove it. But we can sort of do these removal spells on end step. Second Herald, sure. So my turn, let's scry first and get an idea of what we're working with. This doesn't... It's just a way to spin my wheels, which I don't really love, but it does buy more time, I suppose, against the blue deck. But time is usually on their side as much as my own. First thing I'm going to do is mark this for a stop, and then I'm going to bottom that. And let's go for a Moment of Craving, because we can. Opponent may let this resolve. It's not like a high pressure target or anything on the Herald. Oh, they go for a clinch. Alright. One less thing. Scrabbling Claws is not for this matchup. What a diva, though. Showing up in every game lately. Another Moment of Craving. I'm still going to try to fight on my opponent's turn, just to keep them busy. Now that we know that they're really into Quench and Spell Pierce, let's hope that they draw even more of those as the game goes on and keep firing our removal at them. There we go. Settle the wreckage off the top. Let's keep our mana available. Again, now we know how much they love Quench and Spell Pierce. And they are not that early in the game, so let's try to make those cards a liability. I think I'll just take this damage. End step, let's go for a Contempt. Just see if we can alleviate the pressure or if the opponent wants to counter it. Alright, they'll dive down. It's fine. And let's draw a card. Another settle. Let's say go. Just keep the routine up. Eventually, though, we're going to run out of treasures, and we're not going to be as far ahead. Yep, let's try it. I know it seems like overkill, but keeping the opponent from just having a threat is a big part of the game with mono blue. Otherwise, they will nip you to death. And you have to make a bigger priority out of it than you think you do, because over time they're drawing more protection spells and more removal spells. And that's a really good card for them in this spot, getting them back ahead on cards. I mean, they were ahead on cards, but pulling them further ahead. And me drawing irrelevant cards is not good. What we really want to do is stick a Kaya or something like that. Also, it would be nice if their cards became much more irrelevant. This is fine. Now, Siren Stormtamer turns off Settle the Wreckage, so it's another reason I'm pressuring myself to play these early. As well as setting up that Fall of Thran, right? Okay, that's not another chart, of course. That's good. And there's Kayaya. So, this might get countered. I guess I want to try to start a counter war on my opponent's turn when they play their next thing. I play Vraska's Contempt, I untap, I play Binding, then I play Kaya. Because this resolving can be a big deal. It can't be countered once it's on the battlefield, and it can exile a lot of the smaller threats. Alright, so that's something we can start a war over. I'm going to Contempt you. Okay, that worked. Opponent not defending those with counter spells. Let's see if they let me cast a treasure map. Ooh, that was too easy. Alright, then I'm going for it. And we'll grab you and you. They do need their graveyard to evolve their Pteramander, so that is something to keep in mind. It's not a zero effect exile to get the spells out of their graveyard. Well, the opponent's going off with chaining some draw spells to try to put together some threats. Now the pressure is on them because Kaya resolved. And let's try this map thing. Let's make sure we get our upkeep stopped since we're putting this on the bottom. Don't want to draw those land. Do not want to draw those land. I'll take another map though. That's how we get ahead on cards. It's like the card advantage engine. Let's start with a Kaya. Looks like there's some spells to exile, so let's get them gone. I don't think it matters which ones very much. Our opponent could run Mission Briefing, but that would be totally off book. That would be Mad Lad material. And there's a map. Alright. 2 removal spells, 2 maps, Kaya. It's feeling okay, but a lot could still go wrong against Mono Blue. It's a much stronger deck than it ever appears to be. And here comes Curious Obsession. And they're going to have a full grip. I mean, 6 cards. They can ride this Trickster. Alright, let's try to find removals. All the removals we can muster. That was not a removal. Let's flip this map. That's not a removal. I can still pay for a Spell Pierce this turn, so we'll try the Binding, but I doubt it will resolve. Remorseful Cleric doesn't do much here. Actually, before we do that, let's try to fight the counter war. So I like going for Ixalan's Binding on Curious Obsession. I think that that's the highest reward play. And the opponent might try to let it resolve because of Dive Down, but I'm going after Curious Obsession, which Dive Down does not protect. And it takes away Curious Obsession for the rest of the game. Alright, let's go over here. And I could draw a card here. If it is a land, I could play it. I guess that's a good reason. And there we go. Do I run out of Remorseful Cleric? I think my opponent is likely sitting on some Essence Captures, so I doubt that could be the right play. I think Remorseful Cleric has to stay in my hand. Make that upkeep stop for the map. Here is Tempest Jin. Alright, the opponent didn't have a counter for Ixalan's Binding, which means it's very likely that we can Kaya's Wrath here. And that's the good news. But if there is a counter, if they drew a counter, we're in big trouble. We could lead with the Mortify, just in case, but I think I just go straight for the Wrath based on the way the game has been played. Wow, they pulled a Wizard's Retort out of their hat. Okay. Let's go then for black, white, black. I'm going for this now. I'm not letting my opponent have another draw step. Although I guess I could... Well, if I do it now, if I get rid of the creature now, I get 2 life from Kaya, so that's a good reason. But this is probably a dive down, and this is where the game just starts spiraling again. Alright, so now we have to plus and exile some stuff. We could have also minus there, but I like plussing, just making the Tempest Jin come after Kaya. And we could play a Remorseful Cleric, but I do think that the odds of it actually doing anything are really low. And Essence Capture is what's more likely to happen. Alright, let's go. And okay, going face, ignoring Kaya. So we can gain 12 life next turn to buy another turn. Opponents on another Jin, they're moving in. We have a lot of sweepers, oh my god. Alright. They know their lane. Now they have a lot more than 12 damage. And we have to draw another sweeper. Wow. 3 straight lands at the crucial time. It's not good. 4 straight lands at the crucial time. And that. But can it resolve? So I need to force my opponent to attack me with all that they can. I could play this Remorseful Cleric and then sacrifice it if it resolves to exile 3 more cards. And then Kaya gets me 3 more life. What good is that? They're at 12, 15. That would take me to 20. As it currently is, being at 17, the opponent wouldn't have to attack me with everything. And it may make my settle worse. So yeah, let's go for this. If the opponent has an Essence Capture, we get that out of the way. It can also block. I guess that's also a good idea. Let's go minus. So I'm going to save it as a blocker instead. And who knows? Who knows if we have to play around double Spell Pierce or something like that here. So let's play an untapped land and say go. Let's hope their hand is a bunch of Quench, Spell Pierce, like that garbage. Alright, that's 16, that's 18. Here we go. Let's try the settle. Okay, that smells desperate. That smells desperate. And it resolves. And scoop. All your Jins now belong to us. It looks like we have a rematch. Our opponent was on Gruul mid-range last time we played them, and we did execute our Fall of Thran combo. This hand isn't particularly good against that style of deck, but our deck should be good against them. Scrabbling Claws still being a diva, showing up in every opener. I think it has to get cut at this point. We haven't seen it do anything good. And our opponent has changed decks. So they're on some kind of a black build. But let's get the Claws onto the battlefield. The sad thing is our opponent knows what we're up to. We don't have the element of surprise we had in the past. Alright, if they're on mono black, a turn 2 Dawn of Hope is going to be very difficult for them to handle. Because you just can't get it off the battlefield. 3 black sources and a map. Okay, maybe some form of a chromatic black deck going on. And scry to top right away. I will pass the turn over. And here's Karn, alright. Looks like something fun to Vraska's Contempt. Ooh. Okay. I guess I'll leave that in exile. It's chromatic black, I suppose? Well, I don't have a lot of ways to deal with artifacts, so I can't punish the opponent too hard for that. Let's go ahead and Vraska's Contempt away the Karn. And kick it on back. I don't know if I'll have enough Vraska's Contempts in the deck, for depending how many Planeswalkers our opponent's on. It's a very different matchup, and of course we'd like to be up against creatures, but this probably isn't a creature-heavy deck. Okay, our opponent kicks it back to us. We'll play the Guild Gate, kick it back to them. Here's more map shenanigans. We need to get engine going. This Thran must fall. There's the lantern. And I guarantee you the opponent can do really busted stuff compared to our rather modest stuff. So let's revitalize and draw a card with Dawn of Hope. Another Vraska's Contempt probably isn't the worst thing. Still no cards in the graveyard to even exile with the Claws, so Claws are just hanging out. They're not doing anything really. And now what do? You can cast anything you like, and the answer is Hydroid Crassus, which is a draw 3, make a 6/6. Hard to complain about that. Now the question is, do I Contempt it? I think I saved Contempt for Planeswalkers. I can settle the Crassus, so I will make a 1/1. And we'll kick it on over to me. There's the Thran. There is the Fall of Thran. Still need some time though. We don't have enough graveyard exile effects going on. So let's just kick it on over to our opponent here. Don't know that they're going to be playing any kind of counter magic. I just expect them to play a bunch of big powerful things. Here it comes. Let's just settle you away. One less Hydroid Crassus to worry about. There's now 2 in exile. Of course, another Karn can come down and get the other Crassus, which is obnoxious. But then it's not minusing and making big dorks. Mastermind, okay. Yeah, I think our opponent's deck is going to do significantly better things than our deck does, which I don't know how we win. Like sitting here drawing 1 card a turn and making this dork or that dork probably doesn't do it. Our opponent can also get like a Cleansing Nova here and take out the Dawn of Hope, but they take out their own Lantern. So they probably want some other way to deal with enchantments and artifacts. You could unmoored ego my Fall of Thran. You know, that's not a bad idea. Sure. Alright, end step. Let's get rid of you. I'm very disappointed in you, and you're definitely coming out of the deck later. If you're watching this whole video, cut the Scrabbling Claws. It's a diva. It shows up in every opening hand and does nothing. Very embarrassing. Very sad. Ooh, Mastery. That's pretty bonkers. And that's a way to keep up on cards. So I'm going to play the Lich's Mastery before our opponent hits our hand with something like a Duress or whatever they fetched from outside the game. They might have a way to remove that, and if they have Mastermind's Acquisition, they probably do, but I'm still going to go for it. I'm still going to go for it. They have Niv, sure. Alright. Exile something from our graveyard. Scrabbling Claws, you're up. Crave your own thing. Yeah, it works. Hopefully they do it again so my moment of craving can kill Niv, but you're just doing this to deal the damage and draw a card. How about another? No? No? You don't want to do another? But it would be so much fun. Okay. Let's see how this happens. Triggers. 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 So many triggers. Out of there. Alright. I don't think I need to draw the card with Dawn of Hope, to be honest. Revitalize can draw that card later if we really want to, but I may as well hold the mana up for now. Draw 2 more, play land, say go. But this is a way to keep up on cards with even a crazy card drawing engine. The question I wonder... Oh, that's probably game. We'll let the opponent go find what they need to blow up Lich's Mastery if they have it. Cleansing Nova will do. Okay. So you got it, or are we showboating? So the joy of Cabal Stronghold Hydroid Crassus is probably what we're about to experience. Which is fun, but if the opponent had a Nova, they could have just won the game, so maybe they don't have one. And that would be pretty good luck for us. Yeah, you got a big Crassus. Very large, very impressive. All right, do I crave these or revitalize? I don't think my opponent's going to give me much to Moment of Craving, ever. So I feel like spending these now is a good way to get deeper in the deck. And rather than draw the cards with Dawn of Hope, I'll just draw the cards with Lich's Mastery. And we draw these first. It might affect the play, but probably not. So I'm not going to pay 2 for 1 card. I'm going to pay 2 for 2 cards here with the other Moment of Craving. Opponent thinks that's nice. It is what it is. It's desperate. There's Kayaya, which is almost certain to die and doesn't have much to do. Our opponent has a lot of land. Kaya could exile the best ones, so we could Fall of Thran, Kaya, exile some of your good stuff. And there is some land there. Ooh, Ixalan's Binding. We could take out the Lantern forever. Ooh, it's kind of mean. Let's see what happens. Lock it down. All right. Isolated Chapel. We'll hold up Settle, Revitalize. Your go. Settle ya. With all those masterminds, I would have thought they'd be well set up to destroy this board. Maybe they're toying with me, but we'll see. How many Crassi have we dealt with? 3 of them and a Niv? Okay. It's interesting, that's for sure. Make 1,000,000 mana. Is this a Banefire? Okay, Josuves. Wow, I'm going to need a sweeper for that. Fortunately, I still have 3 Kai's Wraths in my deck. What else you got? Would you like to do it again? Double Josuves? Okay, Mastermind. I mean, you better have enchantment removal somewhere. But right now, it's only black mana. I guess a Banefire, right? Banefire could be a problem. I'd have to exile a lot of permanents. I think I can do it, though. Okay. What you gonna do with it? And the Chromatic Lantern means you can't play the Crassus, so... Alright. Gotta find a way to kill Karn. And we gotta wipe the board. It's a big ask. It's a big ask for sure. Big turn coming up. Ooh, sacks the treasure. I thought that might cast your Banefire or something. Anything else with your 2 floating black? I mean, you've done a lot. Let's revitalize. Okay, settle. No immediate answer though to the Karn, which means our opponent gets another Mastermind. But I don't know if that helps them. They've kind of revealed that their Mastermind strategy doesn't deal with enchantments, which, lucky me, I guess. Let's play Kaya and hit that graveyard a little bit. There's no creatures, so I can't gain life. But we can exile a land and a Mastermind's acquisition. I'm probably better off just playing a map there than the Kaya, to be honest, but I wanted to give my opponent something to attack. And I'll pass from there. Okay, probably the Mastermind. And what do you get for the enchantments? Seems like you could deal with it. With access to all those things, but at the same time, right now, you only have black mana. Duress. Yeah, that's pretty good. That is a good read. Good for them. That's going to be an apocalypse on my stuff. So I can leave, because the opponent's going to attack for 1,000,000 and they're slow rolling for a reason I don't understand. The Lich's Mastery is going to make me exile all my permanents. But that was an interesting game, and our opponent gets revenge in a rematch. Alright, our hand's pretty good. Our opponent mulled, kept one on top. Let's see how it goes. I would like to play against opponents that play creatures. I know I've pointed that out before, but it's still true. Alright, turn 1 Legion's Landing. Maybe our opponent's on the Vampire deck. I'm going to pass and hold this Moment of Craving. They might play a Danto Vanguard or something like that, which is something that you want to crave, that you can't kill with Kai's Wrath. So, Vicious Conquistador. Alright, the Vampire deck from the Pro Tour, it did not play, what's the card I'm thinking of here? It did not play Vanguard. And I don't want my opponent to flip this landing very much. So I will crave away the Conquistador and put off the landing flip, and hope that we can put it off for another turn, although it's pretty sketch. As long as it doesn't happen this turn. If the opponent plays a bunch of stuff out, then we can Kai's Wrath it. We should be okay. And you name human, so Judy. Is it Judith time? It's Loxy time. Alright. I'll have a Revitalize. Draw this Vraska's Contempt. Do I Wrath this or do I Contempt this? I'll go ahead and Wrath it. It's a pretty promising board for a Wrath. And that's game. Folds to a turn 4 Wrath of God. This hand has a whole bunch of the tools we might need, so as long as we're against a creature deck. Alright, Godless Shrine. If it's an Esper control deck, nothing to be said. Nothing to be done. Turn to Kaya. Alright.
I'll phase through anything. I hope you've set your spies already.
Be a shame if the opponent exiled more things from our deck than we did. But I mean this matchup is a bit of a joke. Okay. Which is Mastery. Probably can't resolve that. But might try. It doesn't really matter if our stuff is exiled or not. Play that, so you go. Hold up Contempt to see if the opponent goes for a Teferi. I'm not worried about Kaya herself. I'm worried about Teferi. Would you like to exile your own Chemister's Insight? You don't have to. It does say up to. You can hit end search, but I've seen some people do silly things with Kaya. Alright, I don't have anything I want to resolve this turn necessarily, so I'll use the map. But I'm not going to upkeep use the map. I like to have all my options. Does the opponent respond with another insight? If they do, I'll flip my map now. I could also exile Kaya now, but I'm not that worried about Kaya. I have to keep the Teferi from resolving and then go for like a Lich's Mastery. Okay, now I'll go for the Contempt. If the opponent counters this, maybe I get the Mastery down. One of the only ways I compete in this game is Mastery draws my deck or something. Fall Thran. Oh boy. Well, let's play this. Let's play Mastery. That resolves. Alright. See if the opponent has a Cleansing Nova. So they don't have a counter yet. That's the good news. They don't have a Teferi yet. Their hand is a bunch of nonsense. Alright, can I draw into a Remorseful Cleric? Not yet. There it is. 7. Well, I shouldn't have played the land. Oh well. Full control. Full control. It says it's on. Alright, let's play you. Let's tap for white. Hit resolve. They didn't have a counter last turn. They would need to top deck it. Oh my. Well, that's too bad. And let's pass. They top decked it. Or they are that good at bluffing. They just played me. It's very unfortunate. Now I need a way to draw. Now I need a way to gain some life, I guess. So I can start drawing with this Lich's Mastery. I could play my Cleric and crave it. I think that's pretty bad. There's only 2 cards over here. I'll just say go. I don't think that's worth it. The opponent concedes. Why don't they think they can win? They can't deck me. They lost their win con. So if their only win con was Kaya, it got exiled. So their plan is to use Teferi loop to deck me. They can't because of Lich's mastery. That's why they conceded, because they can't win. All right, our rank ended a little worse than we started, so can you rank with this deck? I don't think so. I would not advise it. I don't think there's a version of the deck that is good for ranking, to be completely honest with you. It's too much slanted one way. It absolutely has to play against creature decks. Any deck with blue in it at all is a bit of a nightmare, and we saw from the chromatic black matchup that other decks can go over the top of it with more power and more flexibility. There might be some things still to try. Cut this card. Maybe this is a deck that can have Mastermind's Acquisition and a sideboard to piece together the combo, rather than running the combo in the main. Maybe it runs a few Remorseful Clerics or a few Fall Thrans, and then keeps some of the combo pieces in the sideboard, as well as Silver Bullets for certain matchups. Alright. Thank you for watching this video and this check-in on the Fall of Thran. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you'll try the deck and enjoy the deck. As always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, or leave a comment. You can also support the channel on Patreon for special perks. Links are in the description. Our sponsors are HauntedFlower.com and FlipsideGaming.com. Haunted Flower sells officially licensed MTG apparel and accessories, and Flipside Gaming sells MTG cards and supplies. You can save 10% on either site with the promo code CGB, and it supports the channel at the same time. See you next time for another day in the arena. For now, it's me, it's CGB, signing out.